Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Just wrapped up our Lucas Catholic Vikings star players for this season. A lot of them, man. We got to sit with a few seniors in this 2025 football team for our Lucas Catholic Vikings. A lot of excitement is in the air. I get to sit and talk to the head man and makes the ship run, ladies and gentlemen. Excited to sit down with my good friend, Coach Coleman III. Once again, you're always welcoming myself into your facility here, and I'm forever grateful that you allowed me to come talk with the ball.
Absolutely.
Coach, first off, let's jump right into it. Your thoughts on your players just now, how they represent the program.
Oh, they're characters, man. And I'll tell you, I didn't tell you the group section before we started. It's like yourself. They weren't big, you know, to watch, but that's how they are. And that's how they are when you go against stuff too. They're together, they rely on each other. They're a fun group. They make it fun to wake up every morning at 6 o'clock and be here because that's how they are.
Absolutely, Coach. A lot of 6 a.m. mornings in your career. Let's go back to the very beginning. Why did you get into coaching back then?
Oh man, my dad had done it, and I remember being the water boy for South Beach, 8, 9 years old, and just kind of falling in love with that environment. And then as I got older, you know, I wanted to go to criminal justice, and then I had a moment where I wanted to coach baseball or rugby, but I had a criminal justice job at the same time. And I remember praying I didn't get the criminal justice job because I was going to work in a correctional facility. I remember praying not to get it so I could coach. And I was at that moment I said, like, I need to go to coaching. Like, that's what my heart's telling me to go to. And I kind of switched my majors up in college and was trying to go home with my dad. When we coach, you love me, fall in love with it, and I looked the day in my life since I made that decision.
Shout out to Coach Dad, big supporter, and love seeing his name pop up in the chat. I know he's watching right now.
I'm sure it is.
Coach, every year is different. Let's talk about how you have grown as a coach since the beginning and going into year 3 or 4 year? Year 3 year.
Yeah, year 1 was just a whirlwind of basically a change of scene. We had 5 front, ran across the board defense before I got here. We didn't have the guys that kind of play at seams to change up into the zone, and then we ran double tight end, 2 running backs, and 3 running backs, and we ran ball runs at the time. And I'm more of an air raid type guy, so it was more of a system overhaul than some guys like Tez, who were, you know, weren't even sure if he was coming out because of such a run that to change that, to change the way we play. And then now it's more on the lines of I give a personal, I say a lot of credit, give me advice. But being a head coach is more like being a CEO. And instead of just calling plays Friday nights, and the more I've taken that into, that's something I need to be great at, being better organized, be better of the CEO, and floating around groups instead of being in charge of the group. It's helped me in the long run to kind of continue to grow in that aspect. And I love ball, I study ball. I study so much on the offense and defense, but just continue to grow as an organizer and as a manager compared to this play ball.
Coach, take me back to a year ago. What's the most difficult thing you had to overcome a year ago? You had some challenges that you were faced with. What's the most difficult thing that presented itself?
I mean, it was dangerous, and there's just a lot of destructive injuries. One of my guys just said, it was just injuries at the worst time. And just, you know, coming up with new strategies, and it really came to a week basis of, we had road last year, road was phenomenal. The road was not crossed, also a lot better. It was one road was a lot better. His feet kind of fit a new style, a new system, almost in 1 week, and the game plan would be. He's constantly adjusting on the fly to what we got this week. I know a lot of the matchups, I know this issue had to match up. And we had 29 dressed out. We had 42 at the beginning of the season. So continually just trying to make anything work of who's going to play in what spot this week and who can get a rest here and there. It really just it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle, and you got to be physical and all week long, so they're ready for Friday nights, and then also balance, with anybody else. So the injury bug is a big one. Hopefully, we got our injuries out of the way. We've got about 3 years worth from last year, so we should be good.
Going back to that 60 Catholic game, Coach, second round matchup, talk to me about your biggest takeaways from the night. And I also want to know, how soon did you get back to work? I know it's difficult. You're a head coach at softball, so that makes it deep run and a state title every year. But how soon were you able to get back to work after that night?
Well, that night, I'll tell you about that night, I was so impressed with Central Cat. I was so impressed with the role of our season. I knew we were banged up, but I knew he was going to take a swing chance to beat him. And Chad Elson was phenomenal with that. I've seen him plenty of time. I took a lot from that game with just the professionalism that Central Cat played with. It was really fun to watch. Not from not during the game, but afterwards you reflect on like, man, that's what it used to look like on Friday nights. And then I jumped into it, we took care of it, and then straight to softball. It's a 365 gig, and pretty much I think it was a week before Thanksgiving. I had Thanksgiving week off. And by the time I came back to Thanksgiving, I was doing some house cleaning and football locker room, football equipment room. And then pretty much a week after that, right before Christmas break, jumped into softball, and after Christmas break, I was 100% softball to the finish.
So when you got the guys back together, what were some areas that you wanted to address and focus on this offseason?
Maybe it's the community. I mean, we have a high school, and it's a gift and a curse. These kids play every sport, which I love. And I highly recommend it. But it just comes in the line of you're not going to get much accomplished until every sport finishes. We got so many guys that wrestle, they do track, our baseball program is phenomenal, they don't play basketball. And so when football's over, it kind of becomes ghost town in a good way, because they're all doing something else. So the main thing when they get all back, just to kind of get the band back together. Let's get them back together, let's get them back over the little things. Because even though you've got some returning starters, you went to basketball, you went to baseball. And so you almost every year, despite you see the same faces, like we got to restart all over again. And we keep them lifting, but it's not the same. And I got to pitch in 2 days. It's not the same type of lifting and intensity that you need in a football environment. So just getting them back to the speed, getting them back up, hang out with each other.
Talk to me about a position group on this team that you think needs to take the biggest leap this offseason.
I'll tell you what, it's probably our DBs. And I say that because I love the guys that are in the spot. They are fast and fearless. They're young guys. Roger Senior Brothers, one of them, and Braylon Harrison, the other last year. I wanted back. Senior Brothers, the other. Just because I was probably one of our better strength groups last year. They're all, but I love the guys we got coming up. I heard one mention that they're probably one of our hardest workers. I know they mentioned Kyle actually, but I would give kind of our DBs as a young group coming up. They work so hard. And they are not afraid of Roderick and Maurice and Wills. They're not afraid of one bit. And they get well. Oh yeah, they love it. And I give the office credit. The office goes against them. They don't let up one bit. And so it's they're getting thrown into the fire, but they're the exact type of guys I want in that situation. So I'm really, they need to step it up, but also I'm very confident that they'll do it.
Coach, a lot of questions present itself throughout the season, preseason, and so on. What's your biggest question for going into this season?
It's simple. Just can stay healthy. I mean, it makes such a big difference, especially at the 1A level. Because if one guy goes down and use Sammy, for example, Sammy is going to be our left tackle. He's going to start that D line. He's also our long snapper for extra points and punts. So let's say Sammy goes down, he needs to find 4 people through. And he's also so at the 1A level, if you can stay healthy, it's such a blessing. It really is. We've had kids who are going, you're unbreakable, and some of them they triple and keep their out for 2 weeks. So it's a fine line to keep that together. Yeah, there's one prayer I pray is just to be able to stay healthy and crush them out as well.
Coach, letting last year's senior class go, what did they mean to you personally, and what do you like about this year's senior group?
Last year's crew was juniors when I got here, and they embraced it. They saw the hard work that first knows another Jason Berlin Harris, our middle linebacker. You can tell, we didn't have him here, but some of our younger linebackers looked up to him and they take away from him so seriously because he did too. So it's always good to build on senior class of just had what did they do right, and then you can kind of see that trickle to your next senior class.
Your quarterback, over the thing you said, he's never been of what he is today, and he is on the field, and he gets to those crunch moments. He's the guy that you want out there.
Yeah, he's the guy you just listen to is the guy that's 4th down, 8 yards away. It's the same guy. I've never seen him stressed in my life. And it's a common. I had Mark Collins 2 years ago, and Mark was super serious and surgical, and you know, he led that kind of confidence in the huddle. Cross is a different degree of confidence where you look at him and he's not stressing, he's not sweating the details. You know, he's just ready for the next play. So he's a leader in his own way. It's a weird orthodox leadership strategy, but it works, and I let him be himself, because if he wasn't himself, he would be special.
Every bit feel as what a bruiser would look like going into the season.
Yeah, Royce got injured in the San Diego game last year and missed the rest of the season. So he's been rehabbing his hip and he's been getting back up to speed. He's actually put on some good weight because he always played like 160. I believe he's sitting at about 175-ish right now. So he's kind of thickening up, which will help him be a little more durable. And he's another silent leader on this team where Royce is the guy to go with. And he's a guy with feet carries 20-25 times a night if we have to. And we also got some young guys coming up that Paris, our safety, I was telling you about. He filled in his role last year when he was injured, so I do have another guy that I feel comfortable with. He's bringing some two running back sets to where I can also let Royce play some slot receiver, which is actually probably where he'd be better at because he's so quick with space.
Coach, you see this group day in and day out, especially as this receiver group.
They are. Because a lot of them played 2 years ago. Robert's a 3-year starter. Luke's a 2-year starter. Maurice is a 2-year starter. We lose the road when we have a tight end. You know, we're using a tight end now. Boyce is a 3-year starter. Now Paulson's a 2-year starter. So they are. And they know love from each other. And they challenge each other in a way which I love. All 4 of them, Cross, Maurice, Tess, and Luke, and the tight end, they all can power from 225. So like they take their receiving really seriously, like on the field, in the weight room, through film study. I'm holding up their phone pretty much all the time on drills and stuff that we'll do, and we compliment each other on all those little things. And Roger being the leader of that group, and I'll talk to him sometimes about who's USC, they're even better than what I'm doing. So we'll patch off ideas on that. But they're a special crew, and that's kind of the crew I'm with on a daily basis as quarterbacks and receivers. So that's the guys I see it every day, we work every day, do 7-7s every day. It's a special crew, it's been definitely working hard for a long time.
Your offensive line coach starts in the trenches, and we spoke to the guys and said, trying to find a spot for one.
Yeah.
That's good to have that experience coming out.
It is. We have a senior that's rolling in that new spot right now. It's kind of a guy, I'll give him credit. This has been his best summer. Attendance-wise, he's getting after it. He pretty much crawls out here every single day. And so he wants a challenge. And I guess it's one of those conversations where this is really your spot. This is for you to go get it. I've got some other guys that talk all the time about being a great teammate and being a bad teammate. And I said sometimes a bad teammate is, I'm going to challenge the guy in front of me. I want to take this spot. I want to make him uncomfortable. And I told him, we got 2 guys right behind you who are clawing to get you to that spot. And I said, that's going to be one of every single day to do that. So he's pushed it. Other than that, pretty much everybody kind of returns. We've got a lot of young guys in filling these backup spots. That's really the main thing. Front 5, fine with. Starting new lineups, fine with. I think it'll be a strong little bit worse. But he's definitely 5 to 8 here. That's what these games. 5 to 8. To be honest, that's what it is.
Other side of football, coach, you talked about the secondary, the biggest thing you said you were comfortable with the D-line.
Yeah.
Where do we find the gray area? Is it the linebacker core?
The linebacker core has we have one returning middle linebacker. He's back, and we have 2 guys who kind of split some time periods. coming out doing a really, really good job. And to be honest, I'm looking at him, I see him every day, and I like him, and I just know that they just need game reps. Which is why we're going, you know, he's DC, you know, you go to his for a scrimmage, and I personally actually got to go out there for the Jamboree. That was the whole thing. Because I need to know, I didn't know by the end of our Jamboree, you know, I need to bring some guys, we both ways more, because we try to stay away from as much as we can. It's not possible. But we try to do as much as we can. But I need to know by the end of January where we at. Exactly. If we kind of cupcake those two, I really want to know, and I want to be really good. So that's why I'm scheduled so I can see what we got right now.
Those 3 weeks right there, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Coach, where we stand special teams right now? I mean, do we worry about that in the fall? We got guys getting put down there right now? What's the word?
We got a guy. I got some back there. It was the Aiden LaFleur. He was our kicker last year. He came, he was a receiver, converted to a kicker. And he just kind of took over really well. Came all right after points last year. We don't have a corner from last year, but he's going to do it too. High school kids that didn't get it. So we've been working out all summer with them. And it's like a kicker. He comes every day. He goes through the 3 stations that we go through. And when it's time for us to do 7-7, he goes off the side and he kicks. I go check Morgan today. He gets some extra kicking because it's 7-7. We get extra points.
Yeah.
So we got that down. Like snap catch hold. He's returning. He's a junior. So he stays healthy. We'll have 2 more years. So at least I'll have that answer for the next few years. He's good. He works hard. He's a lot stronger than all that back feet. He's a really strong kid, and he's a good kid.
Coach, you talked about it earlier, but how important is local sport athletes and OC in your opinion?
I think it's great. I think it's really different from year round. I really do. For me, I enjoy watching guys who compete at other schools. For me, like from our receivers, I like watching guys and Maurice go class. It's fun for me to sit back and watch. You know, like I like to watch Paul pitch on the mountain. You know, that's my guy. I like to watch him. I've seen him. And to watch him go to other schools. It also gives, it sounds weird, but it gives their body a break from the specific muscles that are used every single day. You know, if you play football year round, you have a lot more head injuries. You have a lot more shoulder injuries. So basketball gives them a break. It's not right on the legs. So that's good for them. And baseball-wise, you know, they play baseball all fall. That's a little muscles in the shoulder, little muscles in the elbow. That they can rest during football season. So it keeps it. Makes them an overall athlete. They're competing in different ways, in different environments, different situations. But it also gives those little muscles that each sport remains. Gives them a break.
Coach, the growth of Bruce's Catholic athletics over the years is tremendous. State titles the last few years. We got some great coaches on this campus.
They do. Coach Boyd, I'm sorry, Coach Boyd is a rock star. He's been at OC baseball, I think he's like 90 years. He got his first ring 2 years ago. Maybe we're going to this year. They're going to always be there. I look at him as a loser all the time. But so you know the first class program. Football-wise, we're all some big guys that we're really excited about this year. Coach Citron is our principal, and he's a coach. You know, he's still called Coach Citron, so I talk to him for advice all the time, too. So there's a lot of big mentors and people here that build up that program for a very, very long time.
How long has the rest of the ball been?
2 years.
Right there.
Yes, and Coach Mason was our defensive coordinator. His dad's the head wrestling coach Turtles. He does a phenomenal job with it. I highly recommend it. Yes, and that's his dad. So, you know, it was a blessing to have wrestling. I love it. I love it watching. I have no idea what any of the rules are. I just cheer when they win. But it's so good because I watch some of our linemen use, especially for linemen, use that they get tougher, they get meaner. So when you see your linemen and your linebackers wrestling, and the kicker, by the way, our kicker wrestles. When you watch that, you can just see the transition of heights.
I'll just. Coach, let's go back to it. What's the most difficult thing to overcome in a season? Is it worried about grades, injuries, or maybe even outside noise?
It's keeping them where they are, to be honest. It's because it's two things: coming off a hard loss and you're coming off a big win. It's almost you got to keep them where they are. You know, we have a new opponent on next Friday, and we also have a math test on Wednesday. So keep them day by day. It's almost like first lines. Don't let them look too far ahead. Better.
Jonathan, is it better? It's a thumbs up if it's better. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, just keep them where their feet are. Really, just stay, keep them day by day, not look too far ahead. That's really all we can do.
What do you want to see from your group in the upcoming scrimmage January that day whenever you get the CBC and do the see California?
This is key. I really don't care about wins and losses. It's really the Denver's. I can tell you what scrimmage your win-loss record is. So just want to see them compete. And then for the older guys, I think they're kind of go out there and get in a rhythm. And for the younger guys, I want to see them. Let's just see them go out there and see what they're made of. Put it on the label and table.
We'll see if that's better. All right, thumbs up if that's better, my friend. Mic check 1, 2, 3.
See, maybe, oh, no, they were just saying,
Okay, much better.
much better? Awesome. Yeah, my phone was blowing up with that too. My dad, of course.
Should we go back? Should we restart? Or let's just keep going where we
I
at?
guess we can roll.
Coach, the importance of getting off to a fast start before district play gets here. Because you know district,
Yeah.
you got some matches.
Yeah, you do, and momentum's such a creature in high school football. It really is. You know, you get to 1-0. It's easier to go 2-0 when you're 1-0, and you know you go week by week basis. But man, just coming off a big win, Saturdays are better when you win. Mondays become better when you win. Food tastes better when you win, kind of deal. So I mean, just getting off to that hot start, and I know Iota's going to be looking to do the same thing. And I mean, somebody's gotta, but it really, really is. That 1-0 start really creates some momentum downhill.
The great battles in district play to determine a champion. How much respect you have for this district and the coaches that represent it?
This district is, to me, Shiver says it. Shiver calls it the Catholic League of 1A, and I would agree with him. I mean, you have us last year. We went 7-3. Westminster went 7-3. Sacred Heart went 6-4. Point Capee went 9-1. St. Ed's went 9-1. I mean, that's 5 teams right there. You know, in the thick of it, going into the second and third round. So it really is, man. It's the best. To me, you got other districts with possibly some better teams, but top to bottom wise, when you look at the quality of the teams in your district, I know I have a stretch this year where I have Sacred Heart, then St. Ed's, then Westminster, back to back to back. And like that's a tough stretch for any. You can't find a tougher stretch in 1A when that comes back to back to back and you in district play. And the guys in the district are really good too.
Yeah. Division 4 select. You feel it's wide open this year?
I would have to look at who's coming back. I know you look at VC. I know VC lost D'Artez, but I would be lying if I didn't think VC is not going to be just as special again. I know Southern Lab was young last year, so I know Southern Lab's going to be loaded again. Ouachita Christian always is. I kind of know what our district is. Anybody in our district can make a run. It's just kind of the way Ascension Catholic will always be good, and Riverside will always be loaded. So I mean, it always is. It takes a little bit of luck to do it. You know, it always does. So I mean, I think it always is kind of open. I don't really know of a team that's too far ahead of anybody to consider the season over. I know some teams will be really good, but it's anybody's game.
Has this team going into 2025 found its identity yet? The guy said no, but what do you see?
They don't know that they are. And that's kind of what we do as a coaching staff is we don't really let them know. Kind of keep your feet where you're at this point. I mean, we've gone through a lot this summer, working out and going through a bunch of things. They don't know that's it's not on a poster board anywhere of this is exactly what we are, but it's just kind of the day-and-day standard and grind. And you're going to be here at 7:30, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through the work. We kind of walk in, get the job done, and leave. We're not about a bunch of extra bells and whistles. So they don't know it, which is a good thing, because that just means they show up, go to work, get the job done, leave, and that's kind of how we do things around here. Make it quick and efficient.
Coach, what do you think is the most important quality in a teammate?
I think any teammate that's willing to give up their spot, their shoulder, their guy, like just anything for a teammate. I've had guys last year who just would do anything for a teammate. I'll give you my jersey. I'll take this off for you. I had a tight end go play left tackle, or let me do this, coach. Let me do this, coach. And just really the guys who are willing to sacrifice anything to win a football game is really what it is. To know that for a coach, I'm looking at this kid, and every single one of those guys that just sat here a little while ago, I could look them in the eyes and say, this guy's going to do whatever it takes to win today. And I know they have my back, so I'm going to make sure I have theirs.
What's your ideal tempo of a game?
Well, I'm an offensive guy, so I want to try to break the scoreboard. That's how I like to see it. But a good tempo of a game, I like when officials forget their flags at home, to be honest. I like a rough game. I like a game that flows and gets after it, and both teams are clicking at high levels, and you kind of finish the game and you don't know if the officials are still there, or even there in the first place, and they just kind of let them get after it. But that's I came from a public school where we played rough, to be honest, and I played in the backyard. There was no flags in the backyard, so I like a free-flowing game that's got a lot of speed to it, and I like to throw the ball, so it's always fun to when you go against teams like Ascension and like St. Ed's. I mean, that was probably my favorite. Even though it didn't go our way, that was our favorite game because I'm like, both these teams are going to throw some haymakers all night, and that's what I like to see.
Okay. You got a lot of guys that might have to play both ways this year. You said you're trying to stay away from it, but it could come into play. Because of your depth issues, how important is it to have a strong conditioning program?
Oh, it's everything. It's everything. It goes from the weight room, the way we lift in the weight room. They mentioned Coach Stephen Dye in the weight room. Stephen Guy is the best. That's my guy I graduated high school with. He's got them lifting and their legs are strong. And then Coach Chris and Coach Eli, which are two of our newer coaches as well, they're doing strength and conditioning and speed. Today was a speed day. Tomorrow is more of a mid-range day. And so, I mean, being able to play in the fourth quarter is everything. It really, really is. I tell people it really doesn't matter how good you are in the fourth, what version of yourself you are in the fourth. And for 1A and every 1A coach out there, they've got to pretty much create a roster that can flow. Because any one of those guys, I know most of them are offensive guys. Braden's probably a defensive guy first. But all those guys can flip and go play defense in a heartbeat and just take over. And so there's going to be some weeks where we're going to say, hey, we need to give this younger guy a shot. And there will also be some weeks that, if Iota's receiver last year, it was really, I can't remember his name, but it was number 6. He was phenomenal last year. And no, we need to put Tez on him. We can't put anybody, he needs to be on them. So, the situation arises, we're going to do what it takes to win on Friday night. If we can go kind of clean both ways, we will, but that's really not realistic.
Is there a different edge or mindset you're seeing from your leaders this year?
I do. I'll tell you right now, it starts with Roderick, and he does not like any credit at all. He really, really doesn't, but it does start with him. And it started earlier in the summer when we were watching guys run some sprints, and he called out another senior to pick it up. Senior kind of led off about 2 feet before the line, and he called him out before I could. Okay. And it's that level of leadership that everybody kind of went, ooh. Because you don't see that too much in high school anymore. Really, truly holding your friends accountable, because it's really not cool to call out your friend when your friend's not up to par, but he did it, and that kind of set the tone, and they do a phenomenal job with the younger guys. We have freshmen and sophomore come work out with the varsity. We actually have some junior high kids that I open invite to come work out. So we've got some 7th graders and some 8th graders, and their leadership top to bottom to watch a Sammy take one of our 8th grade linemen and kind of show him the drill. And to see Tez to take, the little 7th grade receiver, hey, this is where I'm lining up, this is the aiming points, and all those kind of things. They're a fun group. They turn it on when they cross that line. They're a goofy group overall. They're funny. But once they cross that line, they're business, and they're fun to play with.
What's the most rewarding part of coaching high school football?
I mean, I love when kids come back like a year later. You see them; they're always happy to be around the program. You see them in the grocery store, and you just kind of know like we've been through a lot together. I'm only 29, but like I see myself as a figure to them. But to say like, man, I've had a part in those kids' life, and they see me and they come shake my hand and all, and it's really rewarding to see that. And it's also rewarding to go through a long, grueling process to watch them achieve success. When you win on Friday night, you know, that was like, good job. Like y'all contributed something here.
Right.
Y'all were successful, and you see that hard work is rewarded. And just to kind of hear them, I'm in my 6th year as a head coach, but to kind of hear some of them like, hey coach, you know, can I use you for a job resume? Okay. Can this company call you? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, man, no problem. Or hey kid, coach, I just had my first kid. Like, you know, parental advice. That's always super special to me. The Friday nights are special, but I tell them you only got 4 years in high school football. Those next 60 after are going to be a little bit more important.
Coach, at this time, if you can introduce your 2025 coaching staff.
Absolutely. So I'm the head coach. I'm pretty much the offensive coordinator as well. I deal with quarterbacks and receivers. Coach Stephen Dye, he comes from Rain High School. This is his first year at OC. He's our strength and conditioning coordinator, offensive line and defensive line coach. He's phenomenal. Coach Bryant Mason has been with me for, this is our 3rd year together. He's my defensive coordinator. He rolls the linebackers and running backs. Coach Chris Snyder is coming over from St. John High School in Plaquemine. He was the head football coach at Ascension Catholic for a little bit, was at Ascension Catholic, and then was at Plaquemine. So he has a wealth of knowledge. He's running some DBs, and he's kind of our developmental receivers coach. He kind of takes the younger guys through, but he's a phenomenal DBs coach. And then Coach Eli Mouton comes from a basketball background at Ascension Episcopal, but he's helped basketball this year. He helps me with receivers, but it's us 5, and we're just a bunch of young guys ready to roll and have some fun with it.
Get after it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about Booster Club? Any fundraisers coming up?
Yeah, we do a big booster every year through some kind of dance. Usually it's around Halloween time. And then we have a Purple Club that anybody who goes to OC can purchase, and it kind of allows them to get into games for free, and then we use that money to help pay for stuff. But the Purple Club is always a big supporter. We have a big dinner before the season starts to kind of meet those guys and kind of go over where your program's at and what you see and what we'd like to upgrade.
Coach, new stadium being built, excitement level in the community right now, and the guys getting to play on it whenever it gets done.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've talked to a few guys that are in the works with that stadium. It's going to be special once it's done, and it's going to take some time, but I'd rather it be done right than rushed. So when it's done, it's going to be phenomenal. And I've heard of it like a video scoreboard, brand new turf, bleachers will be all cleaned out. It's very special. Opelousas is a very special community. It really, really is. Great people have come through this town. And so to get rewarded with a stadium like that is super special. And I'm just blessed that we get to play on that stadium as well.
Long time coming.
Absolutely.
Coach, describe an unsung hero and who could take on that role this year.
I will say I'm gonna say our linebacker core, I think our DBs too. I said they're a young crew. They are fiery. They really are. They look at all our big guys. Our paper, the names in the paper are on offense, and our defense has this kind of scrappy. Nobody really knows who we are yet named to them.
Okay. And
they carry it, and they are all willing to talk smack to our offense anytime they get a stop, and it creates some really, really good 7. And I love that. I love that you could get a hot July day where 7-on-7 gets chippy because that means they care. So I will say our DBs. I think our DBs are Carter Savant. Let me go over some of them. Carter Savant, Caleb Tesano, Braxton Harris. I think Ben Minyard and Kobe Collins. I'm probably missing a good one. But those 5 right there, they come to work every day, pretty much perfect attendance, challenging our big receivers all day, and especially little Caleb will tell his older brother who's committed to USC that he's not that good. He will tell him that every day when he bats one down.
Coach, once the summer is over with, what does it mean to win the summer as a team?
It really is. Summer creates so much momentum. I will say this year we've had the best attendance numbers, and and I mean by attendance is I know where they're at. Like I have 5 out today, but they're playing in a baseball tournament in New Orleans right now. So I don't have any that are out like staying at home.
Right.
It's just they're busy. I mean, they're high school kids, they're busy. But attendance-wise, we've had a great number show up. You know, we're in the mid to upper 30s every single day of a 40-man roster. So we're collecting about 80% every day, which is awesome. And it just builds so much momentum. When you have a good day that you could pile on after another good day, when Monday's good and Tuesday's good and Wednesday, it just keeps building off of each other and people want to be at workouts. You really hit that fall camp with some excitement instead of the fall camp being kind of all here we go again. So it's been some good momentum, and that's what summer's all about. You win football games in the summer.
Coach, what's the difference between a team that works hard and a team that competes every day?
I tell them, we're going to bench press, we're going to squat, we're going to power clean, and so is every other team. And we're going to do 7-on-7s, and we're going to do some drills, and so is every other team in the state. There's probably not one football team in the state that's not squatting or bench pressing at some point.
Okay.
It's how we do it. So that's kind of the thing, because everybody's going to do it. It's how you do it, the level you do it after. If you go through the motions, yeah, you bench today, yeah, you squat today, but did you really? You know, so there's that fine line of how are we going to do it. And that's some of the culture we've been continually creating, because out there is really all good, and we compete, and it's a high level. It just needs to compete, you know, in the weight room as well, in our agility drills. So not just saying, hey, when we go step on the field, we're competing. Competing's got to start when you get here at 7:30 in the morning.
Coach, what do you lean on? Is it the training, the trust, leadership, when things are going wrong on a Friday night?
Friday nights, you really just you look at your coaching staff, and the things you lean on the most, I'll tell you right now, is probably your base. If you're a football person, you understand that the plays, for me, the plays we run on 7-on-7 every day and the plays that we've run 1,000 times, for me, I'll always go to that, because I kind of know like my guys can do that with their eyes closed instead of the fancy. I mean, it really just comes down to it. Like, I've prepared for games, and we throw the ball a lot, so I will watch film, and I really don't know how they're going to react to us. I've had game plans to where we're going to go we're going to get cover 4 all night, and they come out and cover 0 blitz in the house. And then in those moments, you really got to say, okay, what can we fall back upon? And we fall back upon our base stuff. What's the stuff we do every day to monotony, and that's the things we lean on. Same thing with defense. If it's not working, go with what we do the most, and what we do the most and what we're best at.
Coach, what values matter most in your program, even more than just a final score?
To me, doing things the right way. I'm not a big social media person, really. I'm not a big bells and whistles and, you know, look at me. And so I really just value that when we win a game, we did it the right way. We shake our opponent's hand after the game, and they respect us. I'll tell you, like Vermilion Catholic, I look up to Brock at VC. They're first class. So you could go, we got our butt whipped by them this year. I mean, it was the first class, and you respected that. Same thing, I felt the same way with Ascension Catholic in a playoff game. And it's to have those guys be at that standard that when somebody says, hey, what an OC football player, it's a lot of positives coming out. Oh, those guys are first class. Those guys are some young men. Those guys have each other's back. You know, that was a great team to play.
Right.
Whether they want to play us or not, man, that OC's a fun game, because those guys do it right.
Coach, how much freedom do your players have to make adjustments on the field?
So receiver-wise, a ton. We have, if I showed you some of our plays on drawings, there's a million squiggly lines, because a lot of what we do offensively is based off of coverage and grass. So it's all over the place. But it takes timing, and it also takes trust. And I only let them go as far up. Some guys get a lot more freedom than others, just because. But it also comes down to repetitions. We do it every day. So they get the freedom to do it because we do it every day, and I don't mind if they make a mistake during the summer. And so they get the freedom to do so. And defensively, it's probably a little bit more structured. You really can't freelance on defense. But for me, offensively, I call a play. You know, Cross actually has the ability to check out of it or attach something to it if he doesn't like it. You know, and we have little hand signs that we do that kind of says, hey, man, coach called this. But this guy's playing this leverage. This is not going to be open. This is not going to work because I'm human and I'll make mistakes. And so we built in that, hey, we're going to change it to this. And it worked out twice this year. I had a play call. The play that was run was nowhere near the play call I had, and it scored. Because they saw something they saw on the field saying, hey, this 5 and out's not going to work. This guy's going to sit on this route. How about I go out and up? And it ended up being a touchdown. So, like, we do that. I give them freedom, but it's freedom that they get and we work on every day. So it's not like they can just go out there and ad-lib. It's built into a system that we have and we work on every day.
Okay. Coach, how do you get your players to understand not just what to do, but why they are doing it?
Yeah, this generation likes that coaches, tough kids to coach. I want them to ask me why. I want them to want to know, because that means they're invested. And so the more they know, the better. I mean, we will talk through film, and I'll go over it, and I'll go over it. Hey, this is why you have to do this, especially offensively, and defense too. But offensively, it's such a bigger picture of if you don't do this, because maybe you don't want to, but if you don't do this, then it doesn't open up this kid. You know, just because you didn't get the ball, you know, through your route, if you stop and you kind of take it off, then you're closing up this window for this kid to get open. So it's a lot of, no, they'll ask why. I tell them to ask why because I want them to know. And I tell all, especially my offensive guys, I want you to all prepare to be quarterback. Just prepare to be the quarterback, whether you will ever play QB or not, because I want you to know everything and I want you to know why.
Coach, you harped on it a little bit, and you said you go back to what you've done all off-season in practice. How do you avoid over-adjusting and just stick to your identity?
Real life lessons, because every time I over-adjust and try to get fancy and creative, it never works. And so it really comes down to by the middle of the second. I have my first script, and it's, you know, I'll go off of that, and usually my base plays work better. And then at the end of the day, offensively and defensively, usually when you try something new, you're not comfortable. You know, and sometimes I'll make a call on like third down. I'm like, man, we ran this 5 times this week. And they'll kind of look at me from the sideline like, ooh, I'm not so sure about it. So it really comes down to you're going to sink to your level. It's an old Marine saying that you're going to not rise to the occasion. You're going to sink to the level of your training. And so that's kind of, when I get fancy, it just doesn't work. So I've had some real life lessons of sticking to, we have our adjustments and stuff, but stick to the script, stick to what you're good at. And I'll look at every team like, what is this team built to do? Okay. You know, I love the 4-2-5 defense, even though I'm an offensive guy. We're not built like a 4-2-5 defense. I love tight ends. I played tight end in high school. I didn't have a tight end last year. I didn't have that hand on the ground, mean tight end type guy. So we adjusted out of it. So going over that, knowing what you got, and doing what you're really good at.
Coach, you talked about your junior high, come and take some reps with the older guys. Talk to me about the feeder program here. So important.
I love it. I mean, I have offensive linemen will come in and jump in drills, and then, you know, I'll have, even today we'll run receiver groups, and we'll run a group in, and then the next group is up, and then maybe that second receiver is an 8th grader because another receiver is playing defense today. And so they get in with them, and I just tell them, you know, their parents will drop them off a little bit later. Varsity workouts are already be rolling. I just throw them in. Hey, your group's in the weight room right now. You're going. Go. Okay. And it's kind of on the lines of we don't really hold their hand when they get here, but also we keep an eye on them, you know, but we just say, hey, go, learn on the fly. We really don't have time to sit here and take time out of varsity for you, but you are here to learn, so we will teach, we will coach you, but we really just don't hit the ground running. I want you to be in part of this environment, you know, because the junior high is a little bit slower, it's a little bit more teaching. In the varsity environment, it's more go on the fly. And so we just tell them to jump in, and hey, I'll yell, hey, bud, you're on bench press right now, go. And they'll just show up, they're still got their Crocs on. You're on bench press, go, and just jump in, enjoy it. And we get a good crew that shows up every day, and I love seeing them there. And a lot of them just go to kind of watch the guys that we just had on the bench. They love watching them in action, too.
Okay. New strength and conditioning coach this year. Give me some weight room rules and truths that he brought to this program.
Yes, I was the weight room guy beforehand. Just as a head coach, it just kind of becomes difficult to, you know, have a lot. So he came in, he's certified through a bunch of stuff, man. And from the get-go, don't sit down. Don't sit down. Don't be out of your group. Put it that way. That's the simple rules in our weight room. And then other than that, I mean, he's high intensity. I got to tell him sometimes, you know, hey, Steven, it's time to switch, because he'll be in there like in the middle of a set with him, and he'll call out one of our guys, and this, I guess, the benefit of being young. He'll be in the middle of a set deadlifting with Sammy, and I'll be like, hey, Steven, like, we got to switch groups here. Like, it's time to roll. We can't stay till 1 o'clock. His parents are going to be mad at me. But, and he's a beast in there. He'll work out with them, and it's stuff they did at Louisiana College when he was there, or Louisiana Christian. It's stuff he did there, and a lot of the stuff we've done in the past. He has a few different things, and the reason he does them, and I mean, he's phenomenal. Like, I love the weight room. Weight room has been my baby forever. I had no problem handing it to him, and he's took it and run with it, and I love every second of it.
Coach, how much film would you say you watch during the weekend? How do you teach kids the proper way to break down or look at their position or all the little details?
Yeah, I do a lot of notes because I know kids struggle with film, so I do a lot of the note taking where I'll go watch it, and I tell them, go watch your highlights first, get that over with. Go make your highlight films first, and then when we start watching film, I'll make a ton of notes. That way when they go through their film, like, my notes will pop up. So that they kind of know, like, it pauses the film for them, says like, hey, right here, notice this guy's technique, okay? So when we'll do it, we'll watch film every day as a team, but for them to get those film notes in, and I'll put it there for them to kind of help them out. Some of them are phenomenal film watchers. Some of them, if you don't tell them, they'll have no idea what they're doing. And then we also post a film leaderboard of who's watching film and who's not. So when you show up on Monday and you've watched 5 seconds of film, it's going to be on that board, and it's kind of embarrassing when your person right next to you has watched 4 hours and you're at 5 seconds. So we'll kind of hold them accountable with that leaderboard, and trust me, that leaderboard works, because the next day all of a sudden they're at an hour 30, and they don't want to be left behind.
Coach, you're the quarterbacks coach here, offensive coordinator. From the starter all the way down to the backup and so on, how do you teach your quarterbacks to read defenses pre and post snap?
So it's a big system we follow. Everything's a system. So if you go through the coverages with Cross, he could tell you them. He'll tell you the strengths and the weaknesses, which is all good. But we also talk that in a high school football game, unless the defense stays in the same coverage all night, you got to be able to just read on the fly. So he has rules. So if the receiver's running this route and this combination, so really on the lines he's reading space, not defenders, because he really doesn't have time to go drop back. Oh, this is cover 3. This is what I need to do. So he's got, like, this is we do a lot of progressions. I'm looking at this guy first, and then he's got basically a green light or red light. And he can determine, based upon the defense, pre-snap, like today we did a good one on working on against cover 2. You know, he likes this route versus cover 2. Well, if that corner stays down, I'm throwing this. Like, this is right away, and I forget the rest of my progression. So it's a lot to it. For me to sit down and really explain all the ins and outs of it, it'd probably take about an hour. And sure, that's not what everybody wants to listen to the whole time, but it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's he'll have a pass and he'll complete a pass, and he'll be like, hey, look, man, your steps are out of rhythm. That's why that safety almost caught that. I know we caught it, and it's a great play. But look, man, your steps are out of rhythm. Okay, and you shouldn't even be looking at this, because that's not in your progression, or like, you went to this too early. So it's a lot of timing and rhythm and reps and over and over and over again, and it gets monotonous, but he's gotten it. It's year 2 with him, so now he's starting to let things go earlier. My favorite play from him so far, we did a 7-7 with Northwest, and if you paused the video of when he releases the ball, our guy's nowhere even close to being open. But through all the rules that we have, he knew it was about to be open.
Right.
I mean, he let it go, and to me, like, that's the kind of timing you see college kids have. I mean, my guy's covered by 5 yards, and then as he lets go of the ball, you watch it slowly open up. In years prior, he would have waited till it opened up, and that's too late. So it's a big process that he's getting better with, and we work on it every day.
Coach, earlier this year, we had the retirement of Keon Coleman's jersey. Talk to me about the legacy he left here.
I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, we're having a camp for him coming up this weekend that we'll be a part of, and just to have a guy like that have your school on the map. Because I've talked to people about OC, and they'll bring up Keon Coleman, so it brings some recognition to the brand of OC football, and he's such a good guy too. That's really. I mean, he's a superstar, and he's in the NFL. He hangs out. He FaceTimes Josh Allen, and then, I mean, I'll talk to him like I've been knowing him forever when he came to his jersey retirement. So it's great for the school. he's great as a person, and then I know he's looking to get back to OC, which I'm excited to get that process started as well. And I'm hoping that we have guys that can become that household name future as well.
Coach, you got a big-time recruit on your campus, Roderick Chesano Jr. Talk to me about what have you seen from him and his growth at the school, and also what's it mean to you seeing coaches come see your kids?
Oh, it's awesome. Tez, I call him Tez. Tez is such a good kid too. Ironically, we talked. He didn't like recruiting too much, in terms of he just likes to kind of like go with the flow, and he's a great leader. He's a phenomenal leader. Sophomore year, he'll even tell you his sophomore year, he was kind of just going through it, and then once that big offer kind of came in, it was Houston. Houston offered him, and Tulane offered him shortly after. Kind of lit a light bulb and a little fire on him, and it's been night and day since. Because I've had guys come back and be like, "Oh, Tez is a big recruit now." I'm like, "Yeah, he is," and they're like, "Is he still lazy?" I'm like, "No, he is another animal. He is nothing like what you remember." And he was darn good his sophomore year, but he's nothing. He's a total different person, and he's a leader in the locker room. I'm so excited for him. The day he told me he committed, I was pumped up. So I'm really excited for that kid. He's got a bright future, great personality, good head on his shoulders. His parents, I talk to his mom all the time about him and all the things that they do. So he's a great kid. I'm ever confident he could follow and kind of Keon Coleman's footsteps. But the best thing about him to me is like he's so humble. Like he could have came in and wore USC this, and he wears a wristband. That's about it. But if you just walk the halls, and he's 6'3", so he does kind of stick out. Mm-hmm. But you would never know. Just talking to him, and he's just a humble guy that just likes to go about his business, play football. He does it for the love of the game. I love how he talks about how he wants, he's going to college and he wants to give back to his family. So I love all those things about him. He's a great kid. The second he graduates, I'm going to become his biggest fan.
Good. Coach, do you believe there's a stronger bond between teammates when the roster depth is thin and everyone has to step it up another level?
Yeah, I do. I think, especially at a 1A level, you really, really do. Because you know at any point your number is going to get called for this guy, and especially at 1A, you're going to see a lot of guys like, no, I can go. I'm going to give it my all to give this guy a break, or I'm going to step it up for this break. It takes a lot. Last year we went 8-4. We lost some district games, so on paper it looks like a good season to me. I have higher standards, but man, we gained a lot in that year, even though it wasn't our goal, because we had a lot of young guys step up. That I'm now like that DB core. The DB core basically played all week 6 through 10 last year. Not in those spots, but they were on the field. Braxton played running back. Caleb played some linebacker. They played those roles because of the injuries we had. And now it makes me more confident, even though technically they weren't a starter. They're not on my returning starters list. I got confidence in them because they're going through the mud with that senior class that's here right now.
Coach, what did you learn about your team when you did have those injuries a year ago?
Oh, they're relentless, and I love that. I think to me, the moment that told me everything I needed to, and it stunk because it happened right in the playoffs. We were down by, I think, 25 versus Westminster in the first round of the playoffs. Just ball wouldn't bounce our way. Everything went wrong. Could easily just said, hey, this ain't it. But they came together and they persevered, and I really loved it. They looked at it as next man up. Rowan did a phenomenal job. Rowan Bergeron, he's graduated. He's at LSU Eunice. He's going to play baseball at LSU Eunice. He did a phenomenal job of being that glue that held everything together, but Sammy got injured. His younger brother, Jimmy, stepped up and played his spot in that role, and I had Miles Collins, our tight end. He was a tight end defensive end. He stepped up and played some left tackle when we needed to. And you got to really, really love your teammate to do some of those things. And that's what you definitely get with high school football. Especially with a small roster.
Coach, you've seen both sides of it. Mm-hmm. Speaking of the Westminster of Lafayette playoff game, so you've seen both sides of it. You've got the first round bye. You played in that first round. Coach, your thoughts on the system, and would you do something differently if you got the bye again compared to when you did have it 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think the way it's set up right now is good. I think it's a good list. By the time you get to that quarters, it's the best 16 are in there. Mm-hmm. Most of your quarterfinal matchups are really, really good matchups. So I think that in terms of the bracket, I think that's fine.
You prefer playing right off a week 10? Maybe you got some momentum, or
You think it's good for getting some people healthy?
I would say, so I've been part of both, and I've lost the second round both years I'm here, so I guess neither. But I would take the bye. We would treat the bye differently. 2 years ago, we were prepared for Ascension Catholic for 2 weeks, and by the middle of the second week of game week, it just kind of got dry. You know, it got just kind of you've watched. I mean, we watched film every day, and they kind of got bored with it because it's really hard to stay focused on one target for 2 weeks in a row. So I would prefer the bye, and then this year, if we would get a bye, which is our expectation, to get a bye week,
Correct.
we would just take it light. I mean, we take it to just get some lifting in, get some stretching in. We probably wouldn't focus on our opponent, even though we would have a really, really good idea of who it is. Just keep it loose, keep it fun, rehab them, and that way we'll be excited on that Monday that we're going to play this team instead of just kind of like that Monday is just kind of rolling through. And that's something you learn because I've never been in that situation before. But if we definitely get that bye week again, we're just going to take it to get guys healthy, keep them in shape, have some fun, just go do our things outside and practice. And that way we're still energized come that round two.
Coach, I know I've asked you this in the past. Your mentor in the coaching world, if you'd like to share it with us.
Yeah, absolutely. My dad from my whole childhood for sure. Dennis Gaines, if I had to pinpoint a guy, if I'm under a coaching tree, you know, you see the college coaching tree. If I'm under the coaching tree, it's Dennis Gaines. Just won a state championship with Cecilia. He's now at East Ascension with Coach Brock Mathern. Brock was an assistant coach with me. Not with me, but when I was at South Lafourche, Coach Brock was there. For the way he did things, the way he went about his daily business, the effort he put into it. And so I still text Coach Gaines to this day on just any piece of advice and how to handle things and how to do things. And to me, as a mentor, he's a great guy. I know they're going to have a heck of a season at East Ascension with him there. But he's still a guy I follow to this day. And then, Brock Prejean, we play all the time at VC. He's a guy I met when I was at Covenant. I still keep in touch with him. There's a reason we're doing a scrimmage together. Because he's one of those guys where you look at the 1A level, Vermilion Catholic comes to mind. So he's definitely a guy I've talked to a whole bunch and modeled a lot of what we do off of.
Most memorable game you've ever coached? I know you had prior years, but what about as the Viking head coach?
So my 2 years here, the Westminster Lafayette playoff game was a big one, coming back and win. I will say probably Point Capee, week 10 of last year, they were 9-0, and we finally got healthy kind of that week. And I know Sammy ended up going out that week with injury, but we finally got healthy. Cross was back because he had been out for about 3 weeks. And we played with a chip on our shoulder that even though Point Capee was 9-0, I mean, we played with a chip on our shoulder. I think the final score was like 52-30-ish. I mean, we just kind of...
Everything clicked.
It clicked. It was a fun game, and it was a game we needed. You know, it was definitely a game we needed. Everybody kind of got back healthy for the most part. And that, to me, is probably one of the bigger statement wins we've had. Probably because we weren't predicted to really win that game across the state because we were 6-3 and they were 9-0.
Is there a moment you can recall on why you do this in your career?
One good moment. I'll tell you that I have a thing where after every game, I've done this every year I've been a head coach. At the end of the last game of the season, you know, I line all my seniors up, and we just line the seniors up, and then the whole team just comes one at a time to give them a hug and all that kind of stuff, and just to see the passion in their eyes, and you know, those moments I have with them, and those, because I know that's like, this is the last time I'm going to get to talk to you with pads on. Those are some special moments. I cherish those moments. And I tell them, you're always going to cry, whether we're crying tears of joy or tears of defeat. You're going to cry. And then I'm going to cry with you. But it's those special moments where you can look at your seniors and say, like, you guys have given, and I always tell them, you've given everything to me. I gave you everything back. I really appreciate everything you guys have done for me as a coach. And I love that. That's those nights, even though that night comes when we inevitably lose the last game or win the last game, because I've had it both ways with softball. It's just a special moment. It just really is.
What do you want your players to know about how you see them as people, not just athletes?
I mean, I really do. When I say I love those guys, I love coming to work with those guys every day. They are fun. They are the type of guys that you show up and do what you're supposed to do. I just want them to know that really do care. I care deep down about each and every one of them. I want to see them succeed. Sometimes I think I'm being mean to them, but that's just me telling them they need to kick up a gear because they can be better. And I really do. I look at each kid individually, and no freshman or sophomore gets an excuse. I look at them all the same, and I treat them differently. You can't treat every kid the exact same way, but I coach them all as hard as I can. I just want them to know that I definitely do care about them at the end of the day.
Most excited for this season, most proud of from this group so far?
I'm just excited to see this new crew, definitely. This year 3 with me, and I'm definitely excited offensively. I'm excited offensively because we got a lot of veterans returning on offense. I'm excited defensively because it's a great culture on defense right now. Like I said, there's not a bunch of big-name kids, but they play really, really hard, and I'm excited to let them go out there and do it. What was the second part of it?
And what are you most proud of so far from this group this offseason?
The seniors have done a good job leading. They really have. I give them credit. I mean, their attendance is there. I think Sammy's at perfect attendance. Roderick's at perfect attendance. I think Braden had some event he couldn't make. But for the most part, I mean, they're here, they're working, and just the way that they understand that there's going to be a time when they're not here. And I mentioned it earlier, the time they spent with the younger guys. I love watching that. You know, you got a kid, a little 7th grader who's not understanding exactly how to run his route, and then Roderick or Maurice will go talk to him and coach him up that we don't have to. And just to see those moments, like, I'm proud of them for that, because they understand that this is not them, but this is a program, and there was a before and there will be an after. The
backing of the community and the support you've seen for this program in your 3 years here.
I love it. I mean, it's OC is a very special place, and Opelousas is a very special town. When you go around town, you know, you're at the Walmart and you see OC and you see OC stickers. It's a community, man. It's really fun. It's fun. It's fun. I've fallen in love with the 1A environment. I went to a 5A school out of high school. I coached at a 5A school out of high school, and I went to 2 1As in a row. And there's always something very special about really small school. And I told the guys, like, I graduated with 300 different people. The person to my left and to my right I've never seen before in my life on graduation day. I mean, you know everybody from years back. So that's always very special.
Coach, UTL has never covered the Vikings when you've been coach. Is that right?
I believe, yeah.
Can we change that this year?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
We're talking brand new stadium, and we want to see the Vikings play. We want everybody in attendance, but we would love to be there whenever you guys do get that home game.
Absolutely.
If that's okay with you.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
And on Wednesday nights, keep picking against you.
Yes, pick against us every single time.
No matter what.
No matter what. I don't care if we have a bye week. Pick against us.
Okay. Real quick, let's go through and give us your best version, like sum it down real quick in case people didn't hear your answers from earlier. So just a quick little one-word answer or something.
Sure.
Thoughts on the players' interview?
Themselves. Yeah, just them being themselves, and they're hilarious. They're knuckleheads.
Why did you get into coaching?
I love it. I mean, it's just been a passion of mine. I love the game.
How have you grown as a coach?
Maturing as a coach, knowing there's a lot more than just X's and O's.
Most difficult thing you had to overcome a year ago? You talked about injuries.
Yeah, it's just being able to look at kids in the eyes after a hard loss, and they're knowing that, oh, if we had this and had that, but just to look at those kids in the eyes and keep them going. That's always difficult.
The biggest takeaway from round 2 would have been how Ascension Catholic handled themselves that night.
Yeah, professionalism. They were phenomenal.
Areas you wanted to address this offseason and focus on, we talked about that also.
Yeah, be a fairly new defensive crew. We're going to have about 4 seniors on defense, so the majority will be young guys. But just seeing that group grow all summer long is fun to watch.
Position group to take the biggest leap, you said secondary.
Secondary.
Biggest question mark was staying healthy. Letting last year's seniors go, you said that this year's seniors could take something from that group.
Yeah, right.
We spoke about quarterback, running back, receiver. A lot of guys that were sitting here with us going to be making an impact. Special teams, you got a junior kicker. Important for multi-sport athletes, very important to you.
Yes.
The growth of OC athletics. great coaches on campus, and you spoke on the coaches' success beyond wins and losses this year.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the upcoming scrimmage and jamboree. Just want to see the guys compete.
Absolutely, yeah.
And this is for, in case anyone didn't hear earlier when we had the mic issues.
Okay.
Important of getting off to a fast start before district play. You said it's important to go 1-0. Can't go 2-0 if you don't go 1-0.
That's true, yeah. Yeah.
Division 4, you said it's always, you got a case of teams where they're going to make their case to make a run for it.
Right.
This team's identity, we talked about it. I think we've caught up, and the importance, quality of a teammate.
Yeah. Like I said, I want them to be good teammates and that they have each other's back. And then we use the term bad teammate. They're not bad teammates, but we use the term bad teammate like, I want you to make this guy nervous that you're going to come take a starting spot. So I want you to be that quote-unquote bad teammate, but you're really not. But that's kind of I had to talk with a bunch of freshmen and sophomores, like, just don't think that go challenge them, go make them nervous, go get the best out of them.
So in case you missed the beginning of the interview, that's a little sum-up version of what we discussed there.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, what's to look forward to the rest of the way? 707 tournament next week. A lot of workouts. When do fall practice begin?
Yeah, so we have STM this Wednesday night. They have the big STM 707, and the St. Ed's ones got moved to next week. So we have those two, and then pretty much
two tournaments.
two tournaments back to back, which is fun. Because usually in July you start shutting that down. We'll do some team practices with some teams during the summer. I want to believe August 3rd, maybe, is that first. It's really the first full week in August that the LHSA allows you to start putting some pads on. So it's usually that last week in July. It could be that last week in July. I'd have to double check. Where you can start kind of putting shoulder pads and stuff on.
Did y'all skip spring?
We
because
did.
of baseball?
Oh yeah, we always will.
So that allows y'all to start earlier?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. A couple more for you. Your definition of a Viking football player would be what?
I want a good guy. I just want a good, solid human being that is well respected on the field. You know, you talk to officials, they're a good person. You talk to their coaches, they'll tell you you're a good person. You talk to teachers, they'll tell you they're a good person. And they just handle their business on and off the field.
Best all-time memory as a Viking?
I will say that it was winning district my first year here, getting the ice bath to the back of the shoulders after beating St. Ed's week 10. That was special for me because that was a moment because this was my first year at OC and you know I wasn't from this area, so that was a big moment for me. I feel like I was like, okay, I kind of like we did this, and you know I knew the job wasn't done, but like that was a good moment to where I was like, okay, I'm here for you guys, and you guys kind of accepted me in a way.
Yep.
That we got the job done a different way than had it been done in the past.
Coach, what is your why?
I'm from my house, you know, from my wife. My wife is phenomenal, and she reminds me of Sandra Bullock from The Blind Side. She does, and I love her for it. Just to be the family environment of, like when we come work out in the afternoons. Some players will come work out. They'll mess with my kids, you know, like, you know, they'll grab my little 2-year-old and throw her up in the air. Just to see that and have my family be integrated in this team. I love it every day. You know, I love that my daughters can tell me, for softball too, my daughters loved Ashley Little, our pitcher. They loved them. So to have my kids grow up in that environment, which is the same environment I grew up in. I remember being a ball boy for South Lafourche and seeing the running back and thinking he was the best thing on the planet. For them to grow up in that same environment that I did is why I do this, and I love every second of it.
What's your message to the alumni and to the community as we head into 2025?
Oh, as long as I'm here, we will play a brand of football you can be proud of. We're going to play the right way. We're going to do things the right way. We're going to hold ourselves first class on and off the field, and we'll always put out a good product up there that'll be ready to fight on Friday nights.
Close us out today with the quote of the day.
I'm going to go off of our guys' film session blunder that they said. I'm going to go off of that. It's one of my favorite Mike Leach quotes is where you say you didn't beat a team on Friday. Well, he says Saturday, but you don't beat a team on Friday night. You beat them on Saturday in film, and then you beat them in Monday. So you beat them all week. You don't just beat them on one night. You beat them all week.
Coach, final words as we close this one out.
I just appreciate you guys and your coverage you do on Under the Lights. I love it. I always turn in, and I think it's great for this area to get, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Just to get the exposure that these kids, because there's some great kids in this area, and you get the exposure they deserve.
Coach, thank you for being a great friend and allowing me to come sit with your kids today and yourself. I mean, 3 years we've sat down and talked a little ball, and
Yep.
I try to bring different questions so we're not doing the same thing.
It's all good. I do look forward to this. I do.
Tell your daddy I said hello and looking forward to seeing the guys week 1.
Absolutely, we'll do.